In this video, we're going to take a look at the highest and best use analysis within the companion. So let's get started. In the highest and best use analysis, you want to fill out the file number, and then there are the 4 criteria that have to do with the highest and best use. They are physically possible, legally permissible, economically or financially feasible, and the highest return to the land. That which is maximally productive. And an easy way to help anyone remember this is the word help spelled backward. The first test is that which is physically possible. What can we possibly put in a property? Now, this could be a house, this could be a parking lot, it could be storage buildings, it could be a neighborhood park, it could be a grocery store, it could be anything. But the thing is, you need to take into consideration the size of lot that you have and what you could possibly put there. The next step is going to be what is legally permissible. Now, this has to do with possibly zoning. Maybe there are some declarations of covenants and restrictions that require a single-family residential use. There may just, maybe it's out in the middle of the country and there are no legal situations that one has to deal with. But these are the things you need to think about and analyze. The last test of the highest and best use is going to be that which is the highest return to the land. What is going to be maximally productive here? Even though the deed restrictions may say 1,200 square feet is the minimum, there may be very few of those. And it might be smarter to maybe build a 1,500 square foot home. And although the largest house in the area may be 4,000 square feet, it may not be very smart. They could probably get a higher return on the land if they built a house up to, let's say, 3,400 or 3,500 square feet, because there's several of them. So these are things that you have to think about. These are things you have to analyze, and then come up with your conclusions. Let's go to the next slide and we can give you an example of something that we've put together so that you can kind of relate to what we've been talking about here on this page. Also, you'll see some little blanks here for the quality of construction. In your highest and best use analysis, you want to take into consideration the type of properties that are around in this development that we're speaking about. The quality ratings from UAD are from Q6 all the way up to Q1. So in a situation where you have tract builders, where it might be first-time home buyers building homes, given a range of say 100, 150 up to 200,000, the Q rating would be totally different than the Q rating of a custom-built area where you might see Q2s and Q1s. What I'm trying to say here is you don't want to build a Q2 quality home or a Q1 in an area where Q5s or Q4s are being built. The next step is to take a look at what is going to be economically or financially feasible. We have, let's say we've got a residential lot that is maybe 60 by 120 in size. So the first question we need to ask is, what could we build on that, since we've already determined what's physically possible and legally permissible? So let's say we've got restrictions that require a single-family residential use. The question is could I build a 1-story, 2-story, 3, 4, or even more? What would be financially feasible? And then the next section would be the size and range. If we've got, say, a development where the majority of houses are being built between a minimum of 1,200 square feet all the way up to 4,000 square feet, would it be financially feasible? Would it be smart for a builder to go in and build a property that's 600 square feet? Well, no, he would never sell it. And likewise, with that 4,000 being the max, if a builder decided, well, let's build this 5,000 square foot home, they probably wouldn't make that decision because there's no others like it. Therefore, it would just sit there on the market forever and would probably never sell because it's just too big. It's not economically feasible. It's not financially smart. And here's an example of one that we filled out for you. First, we talked about physically possible, what could be put there. And thinking about that 60 by 120 lot we mentioned, physically possible, we could put a house, a parking lot, storage buildings, or a little neighborhood park. And I'm sure you could probably come up with some other ideas what could be physically possible. Then legally permissible. There is no zoning, let's say, and this is a residential development that did have some declarations and covenants that require a single-family residential use. So from that point, we can go to the next step of economically and financially feasible. The deed restrictions allow up to a 2.5-story house. Most of them are 1 and 2 story. Didn't see very many 2.5, but it is allowable. The size range, the deed restrictions said a minimum of 1,000 square feet. And our research through the neighborhood showed that probably 4,000 might be the limit as far as the largest property we should build. The next section is going to be the highest return to the land. Again, that's probably going to be a 1 or 2-story house as it conforms with the rest of the development. And then our size range, well, maybe we didn't see so many 1,000, 1,100 square foot houses, but there were plenty of 15 and above, all the way up to 3,400 square feet. Once you got over that, there were very few of those. So maybe the highest return to the land would be between that range of 15 and 3,400 square feet. Lastly would be the quality of construction. In this example, this is probably a tract built or design built type neighborhood or development where the quality of construction is based on a Q5 to a Q4 UAD rating. Again, here's an example for you. I hope this helps. Now don't forget, you're going to want to print this either to a PDF if you're paperless or a hard copy and place it in your work file. This is your support showing that you did analyze the highest and best use.